Welcome back. As he does every Wednesday, Kel Richards in Sydney joins me now. Kel, one of our viewers is very keen to know, how did elite go from being an adjective for an elite sportsman or sportswoman, let's say, to now being a word of derision for those who are out of touch but pretty good at telling us all what to do?
I think the word usage has changed because the people using it have changed. So it used to be the case that the wider community would declare this group of people to be elite sportsmen or whatever. Journalists would say it, community leaders would say it. Now it is the people who feel elite who are applying the concept to themselves. And even if they don't use that word sometimes, the very attitude is there of they are virtuous. They're more virtuous than the rest of us mob. And so they make it clear that they are the elite. When you apply it to yourself, that usage changes and the meaning changes. I think that's what's happened.
All right, pronunciations, this is dangerous territory, I'll give you mine. Forward, schedule, router, data, mischievous. How did I go?
You did extremely well. Let's start with forward. There was a little girl who had a little curl right in the middle of her forehead. When she was good, she was very, very good. But when she was bad, she was horrid. The nursery rhyme wouldn't rhyme. Yes. It doesn't rhyme unless you use the old pronunciation. Now, you and I use that.
My mum used to give that one to me, don't you worry.
But my son-in-law represents his generation. He says forehead. It's changing. The same thing's happening with schedule. Most Australians under 40 say schedule. Most of us over 40 say schedule. When we die, that pronunciation will die. Router, I think we have to accept the geeks call that IT device a router. They're the geeks. They designed it. We can let them call it router. Data. The bad news is, I'd always like it to be data, but the bad news is both data and data are officially correct and officially accepted. Mischievous is always wrong. Never say it. Otherwise, you'll get scowls from people around you. It's mischievous, exactly the way Peter said it.
This one, a lieutenant. It struck me as I'm watching Question Time. Richard Marles, of course, is the Defence Minister. Listen to how he pronounces the word.
A sub-lieutenant doing anti-warfare training at HMAS Watson in Sydney.
Now, when I worked for Defence Minister in the Howard government years, I was always told lieutenant is us, lieutenant is the American pronunciation.
You are exactly right. There are actually two pronunciations used here in Britain, lieutenant and lieutenant, slight differences. The American pronunciation follows the spelling. Our pronunciation comes from the French origin of the word. Now, it came into English a long time ago, 14th century. And in those days, by the way, the word means someone put into place of someone else. So if you have in other words, got the word tenant in it. If you own a place but you don't live there, you put someone there, they are a tenant. That's where the word comes from. Anyway, back when it came into English, the first syllable was spelled L-I-E, not you, but V. Because it was once the case that U and V were interchangeable and the V was pronounced as an F. That's the old French pronunciation, and that old French pronunciation, blame William the Conqueror and his Norman knights, that's where we get it from.
Thank you, Kel. Terrific as always. I must say too, it is the Australian Defence Force, no plural. 3 services under our ADF, but it's not Defence Forces.